baby.
We've been doing this for like half a decade at this point now.
We've been doing this for a very long time.
And we're now just figuring it out, which is odd.
Well, this was one of those, we tried to get too cute with it. And now all of a sudden we're just like, hey.
Got it.
Cool. Neat.
Right.
Are we?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Somebody.
I'm going to pull it up.
Yep, we're live.
Please. All right.
Yep.
How do we make him visible?
That actually worked.
What?
Is that not going to happen?
I don't. Oh, I think we might have to, because I think we might be in the view. Go up to the right view thing there. Yeah, there it is. Gallery. Perfect. Now we should be good. No, we're not.
Hold on. It takes a second to load up.
It's gonna. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got to buffer and catch up. I just typed hi in the chat.
Yeah,
So
there we
second.
go.
Come on.
Yep. We went from speaker view.
Okay. Yeah. So now it's going to switch, right, based on audio input.
No, we changed that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now
I just pointed. Now I clicked on it. 3, 2, 1.
there
we
it
go.
is. Perfect. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the CAMcast, where we have figured out technology yet again poorly, but we've done it.
Well, let's not get too hasty.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, what are you doing, Zach?
Ignore me. Fucking ignore me.
Oh,
I'm
God.
having a heart. What the
No.
shit?
No, do not do that.
Stop this.
Stop this nonsense.
Zach, stop it.
Why are you worried about me? Do the intro.
It's very hard. What the
What is going on right now?
Yeah, Zach, this is very distracting.
This is great.
It's not great.
We're having Thanksgiving dinner right now.
Where are we?
You're there. You're in
Mike's in the
fire.
fireplace
You're
right
burning.
now.
Where am I? Hello.
This is-
Hello. Give me one more of these.
Okay, you get one more as you fuck around with this.
You can have 24 people on this one?
Yeah, technically we could have 100 people in this meeting if we really wanted to. Oh my God.
Loading immersive view. What is this?
I don't know, but we're
Why
not
can you
here.
only see me?
Anyway, welcome to the CAMcast. We're fucking around with technology as we are wont to do and have been doing for nigh on a decade and a half
don't
now.
ask me that ever again.
Yeah, stop immersive view for everyone. Jesus, tap dancing Christ. I'm Mike, ostensibly the leader of this shit. That's Dave. He's been around for a while. And that's Zach. Our big sweet boy.
There is far too little alcohol in this beverage. For me to
It's been a week.
We got a fridge.
Is that Twisted Tea?
No.
No, it's
Oh.
just
What's-
lemon brisk.
What's everybody drinking?
Sorrow.
I've got a cherry vanilla Coke Zero in
Uh-huh.
a integrated engineering koozie.
Ooh.
Should I grab some Octavius out of the bathroom?
Yes, go ahead and grab yourself Octavius.
Lemon brisk.
Lemon brisk because I'm basic.
Zach's gonna go grab some
And-
bathtub hooch.
And or 45 years old. I don't know. Do old people still drink this?
Probably. Do they still do the claymation commercials?
Oh my gosh. That's a throwback.
Oh, that's brisk. baby.
I was thinking about a comedian. What's his name? The guy who's the machine. He's always
Bert
shirtless.
Kreischer.
Yeah,
That
Bert.
guy.
And as I was sitting here, it's like, I'm gonna be on a podcast. And you know what I started craving as soon as I was thinking about that? Kool-Aid.
Yeah, boy.
Did you see that bit with him and the Kool-Aid? He's got like a 44-ounce, a massive cup. And they're like, what are you drinking there? He's like, Kool-Aid. And they're like, no, really. He's like, no, really, it's Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid.
The man talking about Kool-Aid, that is a longtime friend of the program, Devin Creasy.
All the way from South Carolina,
Yes.
coming to us via the electrons.
The series of tubes underneath this great country of
Right,
ours.
Exactly.
There it
Thank you,
is.
Al Gore.
Yeah. Appreciate you, buddy.
That looks worse every time you pour that.
Oh,
Is there a
That looks
kidney
really
stone in
bad.
that?
so it looks terrible. It tastes pretty good. This
Drink
guy.
that.
Before I go off on this tangent, Devin Creasy, Dr. Grudge across
not.
all social media. Subscribe to him on YouTube. He does
No.
really kick-ass content. He drives a Corolla with a beams and a Volvo axle, and he did Drift Week in that shit. That was
Yes.
wild. We're going to talk to him
Oh my
about
God,
that. and a
it's
whole bunch
getting
of other
better.
Stuff.
I swear to God, that's better.
It
Okay.
still smells like feet.
It does.
Ugh.
Don't fucking smell my feet.
That looks like sandy water
It's getting
to me.
better.
It
So
does
what
feel
that-
better.
so
Again, like
thi-
I said, there should be a kidney stone in that.
so
yeah.
this brilliant bastard,
Whoa, that's a lot of praise.
this
He is a
dipshit.
loathsome, offensive brute, yet I cannot look away.
From one end of the spectrum to the other.
this whatever this is
Yo.
here comes bursting through the door like the Kool-Aid man one evening.
No.
And
Like I said, he's earning his title as Cosmo Kramer.
This is very true.
Levels.
I'm just expecting one day to open the door to the basement to just being bright red.
I can do that. Hey, Google, turn all lights to red.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, he comes bursting through the door with just 5-gallon buckets and all sorts of other shit. And he informs me that he's going to start making hard cider.
And I did. And I have 2 more of them in the bathtub brewing, which is an odd statement.
Yeah, we've got a non-functioning bathroom at the moment. I really don't trust our management to take care of that shit for us. So I think
Well-
I'm just gonna bite the bullet and fix it
But
myself.
the thing that was like, of all the shit we've gone away with, it's like they forget about fixing the bathroom a couple times.
This is true.
I'm okay with the.
This is,
I won't say on the podcast how much we were in debt to the office.
I
we were-
just know
yeah.
the moment that Zach sets the garage on fire,
We're out.
Mike is going to be like, well, you remember that one time they didn't fix the bathroom, right?
Remember that time I fixed the toilet and I didn't invoice you?
Do you see this right here?
What is this? There's a. Oh,
Hey.
because you keep throwing yourself.
No. A dump truck
What?
backed into the backside of this wall and cracked it from here to here and all the way down. If you look on the outside of the building, there is a crack. And I kept asking them, like, hey, we want some compensation for that because, like, that has damaged the building that we live in.
Yeah.
No, we'll fix it. 8 months later, they just painted over some fucking
They just spackle over it and call it a
Oh
day.
my gosh.
Yeah.
God, that was tangent. Yeah, I'm making my own bathtub hooch now. It's surprisingly good. This stuff was kind of not my best work ever, but the stuff that I'm going to be working on tomorrow will be way better.
And when we say bathtub hooch, it's literally gurgling in the bathtub of our non-functioning bathroom / utility closet because I got
Like-
potting soil in there.
Yeah,
You
utility
you
room.
cannot script or write this any better. Like they literally opened the door to this to show me the first time, flipped the light on, and one of the tanks like burped.
And it's going to be some high proof shit. Like,
I really feel like I'm in an episode of Bob's Burgers every time I walk into this house.
I was dating a
Oh my
Tina for a
gosh.
while. That helps, I guess.
I just mutter, "Oh my god!"
Oh my god.
Oh
But
my
the
God.
next 2 ones are going to be in the ballpark of 15 to 18%.
No, you're not with us. No, go shoo.
No.
Shoo.
Fine, I'll go, but I'm going to complain the entire time.
That's my American right.
God. Okay, so rolling this back like 30 times. So, Devin, you were
Yes.
talking about how you were thinking about how you made me buy a game that I
Uh-huh.
then never played with you because you never played back with me.
Yes.
And I was a little sad about.
So it's funny. So we like I was super excited when we bought that. The D2 Diablo 2. We bought that super excited because the remastered version was coming out, right?
With
Well-
less tits and blood.
Yeah, but then I found out that there's a button on your keyboard that toggles all of the graphics back to the old graphics.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, maybe I don't have to load up the original to still get that kind of nostalgia feel. And that's why I haven't loaded back up the D2
Yeah.
with you because I'm like, oh, I get it just by playing the new version.
That's entirely understandable.
Yeah.
But yes, we do need to play.
I am
that would
down.
be a lot of fun.
Now I
we need to
want
have
to
an
spend-
old school LAN party and we need to duct tape you to the ceiling.
Have you seen the new version of that?
Yes, I have.
There's a new version of that.
I
They
have not seen
recreated it.
this.
Yeah. Like I hope it's the same people. It's probably not, but
Is it 2001 to 2022?
yeah.
Like
I don't have a big enough Switch to support a LAN party.
that's a first.
I used to have a 64 port rack mountable Cisco Switch. I
I'm-
used just for LAN parties.
I'm surprised you don't have an entire rack server in the basement.
I got rid of that. It's now a desktop.
Okay.
It was too loud and it didn't work the way I want. In my mom's garage when I still lived with her, I actually had a half height rack with 3 running servers in it, and a UPS.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No wonder why she wanted me to move out.
Is that the reason?
I think that's the only reason we could possibly come up with here.
Huh.
Yeah.
You don't say. All right. Well, before we get this crazy train too far off the wheels.
Gesundheit.
What?
I'm sorry.
What? Well, that was
Never mind.
crazy train.
That's
No. Is he gonna get or is he just leaving? I don't know what's going on here.
No way he goes.
I don't know what happened. I love you, Dave.
What's Dave going to go get now?
I think he's grabbing a baseball bat. Oh no, Dave, put it back. Dave, put the bat down. Put the bat down, Dave. Put the bat down.
All right.
Dave, I'm going to respectfully ask you to put it down, Dave. Please. I'm not looking at you, so this is really weird because I'm just getting the slow-mo.
Great.
Dave. Audio. God damn, that shit is loud. Audio format.
Mhm.
So you just got back from like a big drift thing. I don't know. I see things on Facebook, and then like I only look at the Corolla because that's what I care about.
Yes, I did just get back from a giant drift thing. Drift week.
Okay. So you were out there with like Whitnick and all the people that are really famous and have hundreds of thousands of followers and stuff.
Yeah, it was like super cool. Like the first, so Drift Week is put on by Lone Star Drift, right? And it's like Drift Week is kind of misleading. It's actually 2 weeks.
A drift fortnight, if you will.
Yeah. Well, it's you're drifting for a week, but the whole experience takes 2 weeks.
Yeah, because you're driving between all the tracks and stuff.
Yeah. So, Lone Star Drift, Aaron Losey from Lone Star Drift put this on, and I remember seeing local drift hero to Utah, Nick Stuckey, put together something sort of like Drift Week, where he said, "Hey, how cool would it be to like road trip like in your drift cars like they do on Drag Week?"
Yes.
And he put together this map going like all the way up the West Coast and like all the different tracks. And I was like, man, that'd be so cool. And then a few years later, Lone Star started hosting Drift Week. So like the whole rule of it, or the rules of it is like you can trailer your car to the first track, but after that you have to street drive it everywhere. And it was awesome. Like you said, Wicknick was there. Like the first Airbnb I had was with a bunch of Polish guys. So
you do. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So like I didn't know who they were. Their YouTube channel is Night Ride. And so like they're all, talking to each other in Polish, and I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And they spoke English very well, but when they're talking to each other, a lot of times they're talking in Polish. And I'm like, who are these guys? And then I find out they got 500,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, and they're like huge. And I was like, wow, and they were super cool people. Like went to breakfast, hung out, had a good time. It was really awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so like experiences like that was like the norm in Drift Week, like talking to dudes like, oh, hey, what's going on? I have no idea who you are. And you find out they're like some internet famous person.
That's how like SEMA was for me, where like I spent like 15 minutes talking to Crispy Media. Not a fucking clue who he was. And then like I see him pull a red camera out of his car, and I'm like, he's probably famous. And then like back at the Airbnb I put together, and I'm like, that dude's like the content creator for like stance cars. Like, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So let's see.
So what were your big takeaways from the Drift Week?
Big takeaways. So I there were kind of like two different categories I'd look at as far as like Drift Week, because there's like drift driving, right? Like growing as a driver, but also for me, a big part of this was trying to grow my social media and trying to connect with people. So separate those into like two categories. And like one of my biggest takeaways is kind of like one of my biggest regrets. Wicknick talked me into going. I've been wanting to go for a long time, and I've been messaging Wicknick back and forth about it. And when I learned out like how much it costs to do Drift Week, I was like, I don't know if I can afford this. And then I came into some extra money, got a bonus from work, and I started talking to Wicknick again. He was like, just do it. Like, I sent your information to Aaron, just do it. Like, no more back and forth. And I was like, oh crap. Okay. But I thought, because I saw like Wicknick, my friend, like driving on Drift Week with all these super famous people, I thought that's what Drift Week is going to be like. Like it's going to be a really small group, a bunch of famous people, and I'm going to get to drive with them. But what I learned is that it's like 40 people, and like a third of those are very famous people, right? And so I thought I was going to have this like opportunity to like, they were just going to like, hey, Devin, you've got an 8.6, come drive with all the famous people. This would be cool. Like, I don't know why I had that impression. That's exactly what was going to happen, because it doesn't happen, right? The opportunity is there, but I had to take that opportunity. Nobody's going to invite me to do it. I just got to like, hey, I'm going to come drive with you guys. Okay. And I didn't do that. I was like super shy and like, oh my gosh, here's all these people I look up to. Like, so that was one of my biggest takeaways is you just got to make, take the opportunities and make the opportunities, and don't, sit on your hands like I did.
What was the caliber of the drivers like there? Was it all pretty high level? Were there a couple of just rookies that were just wanting to go along?
Yeah. So it's really cool. Like for me, I'm at a point where I'm just chasing like quality of seat time, not quantity of seat time. So I pick the drift events that I go to be like the highest quality seat time I can get.
Right.
And Drift Week was all high quality seat time because the majority of the drivers are awesome. So there, there are, like I said, there's all the famous people, but everybody else pretty much had to prove that they deserved to be there. Right? This whole application process. I kind of got because Wicknick vouched for me, I kind of got bumped to the front of the line or something. I forget exactly how it works, but because Wicknick vouched for me, like it made the application process a lot easier.
Sure.
But there were a few other people that had others that already were approved on Drift Week vouched for them that were not the highest quality driver.
Okay.
And they did not finish the entire Drift Week. That's typically what I saw. But for the most part, I would say like 90% of the drivers are really good. So like Summit Point is this big motorsports complex essentially in West Virginia. It's West Virginia or Virginia. Anyway, super awesome track. There's like 5 different tracks within the whole complex.
Nice.
And they had never hot lapped on on any of the tracks for drifting. And the specific track that we're driving on was called Shenandoah Circuit, which is super cool because they've got different features from all these famous tracks. Like the carousel from the Nürburgring, they have a replica of that on the track.
Oh wow!
Huh.
And they've got a couple.
I love seeing videos of this Summit Point place.
Yeah,
it's wild.
My gosh,
yeah,
dude, it was amazing.
Real quick, I would just like to say that Jordan is yelling currently.
Oh yeah,
why is Jordan yelling?
I told people to come yell at us. So of course Collier here's yelling at us.
I am yelling. Okay. Yep. All right. Sweet.
Thank you, Jordan. We appreciate it. I just wanted to point that out while it was still fresh.
Yes.
Okay.
I said hi back.
Yeah, we need to keep the all caps theme.
Yes.
Screw it. Let's just run it.
Because we're yelling.
Yep.
This is us yelling.
We're like Ken Garf. We hear you.
We hear you.
So high quality drive time, Summit Point. So did they actually end up hot lapping?
Yeah. So they had never hot lapped before. And it was funny, like talking to Aaron, he had to convince them. He's like, no, it's no problem. Let's just let us hot lap. Just send us on track. We'll be fine. And the Summit Point was amazing because like they had paid staff for like flaggers and grid and all of this stuff. Heart to Jordan there.
Yeah.
And so they have a professional staff to run the track. It's not like volunteers like most drift events because it is a huge track.
Sure.
But they let us hot lap, which was super cool. So like I'm like blasting down like, we're doing like I'm like third, fourth gear, like 80, 100 miles an hour entering some of these corners.
Nice.
And like for the most part, I really didn't have to worry about stuff. And like at one point I think it was a 350Z or a Corvette, one of the guys like off the side of the track. And everybody is a good enough driver. They're like, oh, that dude is off the side of the track. I'm going to stop drifting now because I don't want to cause an accident. And because everybody had that kind of awareness because the skill level was there. So it was super cool. Like really minimal problems, minimal downtime. The track pretty much stayed hot like the entire time. There was only one time where we actually had to shut the track down, and that was at Pocono. The track we were driving on there had the timing equipment like literally on the edge of the track.
Oh.
And they put like 4 stacks of tires there and like strapped them all together. And they told us ahead of time, like, hey, people hit that, don't hit that. And then somebody hit that.
Of course.
When you tell people to not hit something, they're going to hit something. That's just how this works.
Yeah. So we had to shut down the track and have a come to Jesus talk of like, all right, who did it? And it happened both days we were at Pocono. The first day, the guy who did it owned up to it. The second day, didn't own up to it.
Mm.
And I was like,
That's
yo, this is Drift
Wow.
Week. You're going to be that guy. You're not going to own up to your mistakes on Drift Week. Somebody's got video of it. We're going to see it happen at some point.
Wow. Wow. A drift event where somebody fucks up and doesn't own up to it and potentially ruins it for everybody. Wow. Where have I
Yeah.
heard that before?
Man, I don't know. Sounds like Utah.
But
Anyway, moving on.
luckily, because one guy owned up to it the day before, the cost to fix the timing equipment is the same. So if the other
Okay.
guy would have fessed up to it day 2, the first guy wouldn't have had to pay as much money.
Well, no, there he
Go
was.
figure.
So yeah,
Yeah. Chris Miller gets it. Loud noises. There it is.
Nah.
And Jordan wants to know who it was. Did we ever figure out who it was?
I have no idea. I don't think they figured out who hit it on day 2. I went back through my video to see if I could find out. And I didn't drive the very first, probably hour and a half, 2 hours of the day.
Yeah.
And it was I could see the tire stacks were already moved at that point. So it would have been one of the first runs out it happened.
God.
Can you
they shut the
imagine
track
being
down,
that guy?
right?
Wow, right after the drivers meeting, going out there and hitting something.
Man,
Yeah.
sounds familiar, right, Jordan?
Wow. Just cut to me hearing Jordan yell over the PA drivers meeting now
Yeah.
as I'm on the other side of the fucking paddock.
Yeah.
Oh,
Great times.
Always
You know,
a good time.
When you want to show a track or a venue that you're ready to do cool shit, and then all the people that come to do cool shit royally fuck it.
Fucking squid it up hardcore.
Oh man.
Just calamari everywhere.
It is the drift event version
just
of just tripping on your dick.
just going out there and just being like, I'm gonna huck something, I'm gonna get a trick here, and then immediately just fucking credit card.
Yep.
Just bruising your taint.
We could go so many directions with that.
I should.
We digress.
I like where I went with it.
I'll drink to that.
There we go.
Okay, so what tracks did you guys go to? So there was Pocono, Summit Point.
Yeah.
So we started at Englishtown,
Sure.
right?
Mhm.
Jersey.
Englishtown, we went, it's in New Jersey, Englishtown Raceway Park or whatever, which is
Whatever
super
it
cool.
is.
By the way, they have several businesses on site. So they've got a road course, right? They've got the
Mhm.
drag strip, which is now the FD course.
Right.
The
They
FD
have-
figure 8.
Yeah, the FD figure 8. And then in the parking lot of that, they have like a little go-karty kind of track that they'll use for autocross stuff.
Nice.
And then
Yeah.
they also have a dirt bike track. But also on the same property, they have an airport,
What?
like a small municipal airport, right?
Like
Okay.
a little fun.
Yeah.
So you're there just hot lapping, and then there's some dude in a Cessna
yeah. Yeah.
just
And
just doing touch and goes.
And it's the weirdest thing because like when we're going to the track, like we're driving to so a lot of New Jersey is not nice. Okay.
You don't say.
You say that as I'm
It's-
talking to someone in New Jersey.
It's like I guess I've just gotten so used to the South where things are like spread out, like the roads are nice, everybody's polite, dude. Like people, man, in New Jersey, there's something in the water. They're angry people. And so it's kind of weird. Like we're driving through like this nice area of New Jersey. I'm like, how is there a racetrack here? And like you go down like this country road, you're passing like massive houses, and all of a sudden here's this racetrack. So it's really weird to get to the track. But I found out that what keeps the lights on at Englishtown, they have a insurance salvage auction company that
Okay.
stores cars on site there.
Okay.
That
Okay.
pays pretty much that pays for everything at the racetrack.
Damn, real quick, we gotta say bye, Jordan. He's leaving. You gotta go
Bye,
back to work.
Jordan.
Also a night. Well, that's cool.
That's
So,
insane.
yeah, multi-purpose property. That's, I mean, diversifying your assets, right?
I figured it'd be
Mhm.
drug running through the little
Mhm.
muni, but what do I know?
So sorry to get
There's
on
other
that.
racetracks in Texas.
Yeah, so sorry to get off on that big tangent. I just thought it was pretty neat because I know a lot of racetracks have struggled to
No,
stay profitable, and that
Yeah, a
was
lot
what
of-
does it for them.
Yeah, a lot of
Nice.
racetracks, they're just like, we're a racetrack. How do you make money? We're a racetrack. That's not how this works.
No.
It's a
No,
lot of like
no.
neat.
Yeah. How does LVMS stay like
Yeah.
competitive, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean, I don't know. They host raves.
Yeah, like they have a bunch of shit going on.
People snorting Molly and dancing naked pay a lot of money to do both of those things.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
So-
they got a lot of shit going on.
And talking about like how to keep a racetrack alive is like that's a YouTube video I've been meaning to put out because I've interviewed a lot of racetrack owners at this point and tried to understand how they operate. And to be honest, most of the time they purposefully lose money.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be looking forward to that video from you then.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. It's all about the taxes, man. It's all about the taxes.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep,
That's
yep.
fair.
Yeah.
If you
So-
can write it off, it works.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
All right. So moving on, right? Englishtown is the first stop, right? We're
Okay.
there for 2.5 days.
Yep.
Cool.
The next track was Pocono.
Okay.
Pocono Speedway, Raceway, whatever, NASCAR track with the
Speedway, the
yeah.
tricky triangle.
Yeah, the tricky triangle. That's what it's called. There we go.
Yeah.
Then from there, that's when I went to Summit Point. Summit Point was the third track, and then the fourth track was Thompson Speedway. There we go.
Okay.
And that was where?
Thompson is in Connecticut.
Okay, so this was like a northeast sort of.
Yeah,
Endeavor.
northeast. So like New Jersey. Well, Englishtown was like central to everything.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
started Englishtown, then we went from there to Pocono, which was Pennsylvania. I
Yeah,
think.
I think so. Sounds about right.
You're looking at the wrong idiot in this table.
So
I'm desperately. I
know
am
more than I do.
crowding. I am flailing. There you go.
We have a Google. In the
yeah,
room?
so yeah, we got to Google. So like we went to Pocono, came back to Englishtown.
Mhm.
Well, we came back to Englishtown anyway because we would fix a car, and then we went from there to Summit Point, which was like down southwest-ish, right?
Mhm.
and
And
the
then
Raceway is actually still in Pennsylvania.
Wow, real glad they didn't move it. Real glad they didn't dig that bitch up and move it to Virginia or some shit.
Right? Oh my God, that is fantastic.
Dig it up and move it to some non-union state with a scumbag governor. That's what's wrong with this country, damn it.
So Summit Point is in West Virginia. It's in
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Summit Point, West Virginia.
Yep,
And then Pocono was in
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
it was in Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Yep. And then so we went down to Summit Point, West Virginia, then back all the way back up north to Connecticut to Thompson. So we did those like zigzag back and forth.
Little, weird routing, but
Yeah, it was kind of weird because it wasn't like a big long like trip like some of the other drift weeks have been.
yeah.
But logistically, it worked out really well because like for tires, so Volino provided tires for everybody,
Mhm.
right? It wasn't free. We had to pay for them, paid full retail for them. We also
Damn.
paid a mounting fee. So they do all of our tires.
Okay.
So they hauled all the tires to every track and they hauled the tire machine and all the equipment.
Oh, nice.
So they could take just what they needed from Englishtown, go to the next track, come back, restock, go to the next track. And so like
Cool.
they had probably like 12 pallets of tires or more like stacked up in the parking lot because there was that many tires for Drift Week.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I'm about that.
that is very cool.
That's like bougie as fuck.
That is.
It was so
what
nice.
happens when you commit to a motorsport?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we can't have this be like FD Orlando where just scrubs are hopping over and just getting the burner tires in the tire pile,
Yep.
throwing them over, getting tetanus and shit.
Yeah. Well,
Can't have that.
hey, we all started somewhere. Some of us are still there. All right. I'm just saying.
Some of us were doing that when the Ford Racing School was over at UMC still.
I may or may not still have a few sets of those tires laying
I
around.
definitely have some K1 go-karting tires take offs from my
I-
old go-kart.
I really wish I had the foresight to like buy a couple seats from Jason when they were ripping those things out of the Mustangs because Hayden has one of his.
Mm.
His fucking car is no longer at the shop. Like it's
Oh.
no longer in the warehouse.
Good. So it got pushed onto a trailer.
Get we fucking all his goofy ass. All right, quick side note. The
Tangent.
fucking so Hayden Campbell,
Mhm.
again, longtime friend of the program somehow, which is weird.
Well, he's like me. He just kind of shows up like that feral cat in the neighborhood. Like when he's hungry,
He does.
shits in the neighbor's yard, eats the food you put on the porch, and then
Sends me
disappears for
videos
another year.
about like cheerful nihilism, and I'm like, all right, this is where we're at.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yep.
Yep.
That vibes.
But no, so he's been putting an FSI 2-liter Volkswagen engine in this RX-8 for the better part of a decade now, and he was going to try and get it at the 2-day. Didn't happen because he is bent on using the stock like tank and fuel pump and all that stuff. And on the RX-8, the fuel pump is this goofy ass thing that has like a basket and all this stuff, and you have to like compress it all together and then stick it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it, like, he kept cutting different lengths of hoses because he put like a bigger like pump in there because this thing's going to make a decent amount of power, not crazy, but a decent amount. And he just couldn't get it to go together, and then the filter, and so it just didn't work. But then
I see.
Yeah, so today went in to have them look at some camshafts that came back on a return, and there might be a couple of 180 intake camshafts just hanging out in here.
Damn it! Only intake cams, huh?
Well, you do not want them. Trust me.
You've seen the Audi I drive.
Yeah, but I've never seen Dannon react like that when I've showed him something to inspect.
Now I really want them.
So yeah,
they're the real spicy cams.
I really want. We just got to drill out the middle so I can run the wiring through.
Yeah,
but that's anyway.
Yeah.
No. So like the thing is, the RX-8 has been a permanent fixture in the machine shop and kind of also the warehouse it integrated. And then today, when I took those camshafts in, I'm just looking over.
There's space.
There's just the B9.
Oh, okay.
And it's in there because we're cooking up something very sweet for the B9 S4. Yeah.
A car that I won't own for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're developing parts for, like, nobody in this room is going to be the first owner of those cars. No. We're lucky to be the podium plate, like get on the podium of owners. Like we're clinging on to third.
I think my Tacoma is the only vehicle I've owned. Actually, no. That Jeep.
The Jeep I got from you?
I think I was the second owner of.
That Grand Cherokee?
I think Mom's boyfriend was the original owner.
Huh.
I'll have to ask.
Neat.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, the RX-8 was gone today. And I'm just like, hooray. Or boo. I don't know. I didn't. Every
like
time
I said, did it leave under its own?
So
did it get drug out of there?
I would not be surprised if it actually got out of there under its own power.
All right. Even if there was somebody hiding in the engine bay spraying something down the throttle body, right?
I mean, come on. Fogging it into the inlet of that turbo, baby.
Hey, they're atomizers.
Like a champ.
the little water bottles of gas.
Exactly. No.
Yeah, somebody
doing it-
emptied out the bottle of mustard and filled it with 93 octane.
Hey, there it is.
Doing it the Mad Max style, just spraying it into the.
Yeah.
Just old Cletus stuff, just with the big nitrous bottle, just whipping it open, fogging it like a hero.
I still regret not doing that when I worked at Industrial Injection.
You never fogged anything?
No, we were all talking about fogging my Ram because we wanted to see if it'd break 150 horsepower on the dyno.
Yeah. Oh man. Damn it.
The old stick shift 5.2. That was the little red pickup that occasionally couldn't.
Oh. Speaking of breaking 150 horsepower, how did the Corolla do on Drift Week?
Oh shit.
Oh,
Shit. That thing makes like 200 now.
250 with the
250.
Jesus.
Yeah.
See? I knew that blower wine sounded spicier than the
Yeah.
There
So
it
it makes 250 horsepower and 200 foot-pounds of torque, which is really good for like a lot of like low to mid speed tracks. Awesome. High speed tracks, depending on the layout, right?
Yeah.
And also I learned depends on who you are chasing.
Sure.
Because so drifting a Corolla, you learn a little different technique than other cars, right? So like drifting an 8.6, you have to carry momentum. You cannot afford to lose speed. Okay.
For the gas, feather the clutch.
Yeah, I've heard
That's-
someone describe driving a Corolla as you throw a brick on the throttle and then you use your feet to work the clutch and the brake.
That's exactly right. And so I always drive that way. That's the way I drive. And usually I can accommodate for other drivers who rely on power more, where they'll come into the corner fast, they'll let off the throttle, let it kind of angle out, slow down, decel a bunch, then get back on it. Like usually I can drive around that, I'll give them a little more space, I'll catch it back up in the corners.
Yeah.
But a lot of the tracks on Drift Week were pretty high speed. and the corners were either like, this is going to sound weird, but they're like too long or too short to drive for me to be able to stay with people. So like,
and I imagine you were probably one of the lowest horsepower cars at Drift Week.
yeah, let me
And
think.
that's I guess that's not like a detriment.
Yeah, it's not a pejorative
No,
thing,
no.
but it's just it's
Observational.
it's a
Yeah.
fact of the matter.
Right. I mean, your power to weight is probably equivalent to a lot of the cars that are there, but
yeah,
you've got 3,000-pound cars with 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
yeah. I think I don't know if I was the lowest, but I was in the bottom bracket for sure.
Okay.
But I have good power to weight. My car weighs like nothing.
Yeah.
So, but the problem was like a lot of the corners were like too tight. So it was too tight for me to like downshift in a second and be able to carry speed. I'd be like on the rev limiter, and too tight for me to put it in third and just let it eat, because I couldn't keep the car moving fast enough. And so like if the driver in front of me wasn't carrying enough momentum and I like got up on them and they were too slow, it was like, okay, my options are either hit them or straighten out. And I'm like,
Right.
I had one crash I had one big crash on Drift Week, and that was not fun. So I really didn't want to hit anybody else.
Sure.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I just ended up straightening out, or, letting off whatever. And,
Yeah.
that was a huge learning point for me. And that's kind of realized, I could use another 50 more horsepower so I could drive with people like that easier.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. That's
Sure. It's nice to have that tool in the bag.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember in one of your previous videos, you saying that your car has the right power output for what you do with it a majority of the time.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to go any further, like a different tire size or something, you would have to step up into that horsepower bracket to where it really starts costing you more to do what you do with it.
Yeah. I have this theory about power to weight and tire like budget stuff.
Right.
I feel like pretty much 10 pounds to like 1 horsepower is pretty good. 10 to 15 pounds to like 1.5 horsepower. That's usually a good number to shoot for. That's why like 350s or 350Zs are so good, is they weigh like 3,000 pounds. They make 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque, right around there, right?
Right.
So that's why it's a really good balance. And I'm at a point where my car makes 250 horsepower and it weighs 2,200 pounds. So I'm at that point where I'm breaking into, well, if I want to carry more speed, I want to do more things, I need more power. And then at that point, my tire budget is just is going to be so high to be able to drive it and still have fun. So
right.
It's kind of like, it sucks because I want to do Drift Week again, and I want to do it in my 8.6 again because I don't have the money to buy a whole other car and build it.
Sure.
But I feel like to keep up and drive with some of these people, like I need to have more power. So I'm like looking at doing this is going to sound stupid, but I'm looking at doing like a mini tub in the back of my car so I can run like 265 17s. It'll look really dumb on track, 15s up front, 17s in the back, but at least then I can run a good tire. And then when I'm street driving, I can swap back to 15s because 17s just look stupid on Corollas. So
I mean, I feel like that's a really Taka Iono move. He was doing something similar to that when he was running his car.
Hey, Devin, I don't want to just pitch some ideas here. I got a mint 98 Mustang that would be perfect for your next car. If you paid for shipping, it's yours.
Do I get my money back out of this?
Laptop sitting on the pinball table.
So a Mustang has been something I've thought really hard about building because, I work for Ford, that's my day job.
Yeah.
But this is going to sound really petty and dumb, but the Mustang drift community or the Ford drift community, it kind of sucks. Not the people. The people are great. But there are two, I got really pissed off on the FMC Drifters Facebook group the other day because there's 2 companies that make angle kits, which are really basic, they work, but they're not a well-designed angle kit. I just look at stuff like it uses single shear straight bolts instead of tapered ball joints and stuff like that, which is cheap, but it's also a recipe for disaster because you have to always nut and bolt check your angle kit. Anyway, they go one of them posts a new update in the group, and you're like, oh, cool, you made a new part. And the other guy, the other person or company immediately starts another post trash talking them. And this is what happens every single time from both these companies. And I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't want to drift these cars anymore because these are the guys who are supposed to be supporting these platforms and they're terrible. Like,
Yeah. That's
so
I can't tell you how often we have to deal with that,
Oh man.
especially
Yeah.
after what we just did.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
That's a story for another time.
That is, I mean, I can throw it out there real quick.
Paste it to the wall.
Okay, so one, it's really kind of gross and toxic with like the modern Audi Volkswagen stuff. So there's like
Yeah.
us and 034 and other people, like, you know, they love to everybody seems to love to talk shit on everybody else
Sure.
except us. Like, we're just kind of like, all right, cool. Well,
As I get a Drift American ad on Facebook.
right.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It knew.
But so last week we have been working on two-step launch control and rolling anti-lag for Mark 7 GTI, the same generation A3 Golf
Yeah.
R. You know, we've been working on that and we finally got it ready to go. And on our GTI and on our Golf R, it's rowdy as hell. On the A3 that was in the video,
Mhm.
it again rowdy as all hell.
Yeah.
And then we release it because we've been working on this thing for a while. Some people were just like, "Oh, I got this 2 years ago with whatever." It's just like, yeah, but your tune's trash though.
Yeah.
Like your tune's just a bit like spicier crackle tune. Shut up. You know,
Stage 2 crackle.
right? So then everything's fine, you know, celebration, yay, go us. And then some people are like, hey, I just shot a piston out the side of my block. Oh. So it turns out there's a very specific like ECU box code, like a very specific ECU on just some of these cars that didn't like it was a very specific that box code plus like this, and this.
A very, very unique series of unfortunate events.
Yes. And it, you know, like we'll talk about the specifics off air, but you know, it ended up causing catastrophic engine failure for like 9 people.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
So, but what we ended up having to do is just like, hey, we're gonna take this on the face. Like, we're just gonna eat the shit that we have to do.
Mhm.
We're gonna buy you new engines. And also, since all of you already had a stage 2 tune, you're
Mhm.
already running like the big IS38 turbo, we'll just hook you up with the big Garrett turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you keep people happy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I saw the post get shared and I'm like, yo, like that's super solid. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome for IE to do that.
Yeah. But like other companies were taking a victory lap because like we, you know, like this tune, this just like this thing that we were never going to find out until this thing like until it was released.
Well, I mean, unless you're partnering with VWAG, you have no idea what all the exact combinations are.
Exactly. I mean, like we have beta testers all over the country, all over the world.
Right.
None of them had this problem.
Right.
This
Because
was-
none of them had that exact box code.
Exactly. So this
Right.
was like, you know, like we caught it early. We called everybody with that box code. We're like, flash back to this tune.
Right.
Do not do this.
Right.
Like,
Revert now.
please, for the love of all that is good and holy.
Well, and then you were saying there was that one guy that knows how to read a boost gauge and pulled out of it as soon as he felt something wrong,
Yeah. Like,
and only
Yeah.
bent rods.
yeah. So like, yeah, like mercifully, like it was only 9 cars out of the thousands,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but still,
I,
like-
I imagine software flies off the shelf for you guys.
oh yeah, like once it takes a long time for us to develop it, and that's why
Well, sure. There's so much information that you have to change or have to
Yeah.
look at and see what
Mhm.
one thing changes on another map. and
yeah, but it, you know,
everything
and
feeds
it's-
into itself.
yeah, and our tuners, our calibrators, you know, Joel Carter,
Mhm.
Rojas has learned how to do it. You know, those guys, and Damon, especially Damon,
Right.
like those guys are unfucking real. Like they do amazing work.
It takes a lot. Like
Yeah.
it's
But
comparatively very easy to tune a standalone
yeah,
compared to a car
like Flash,
ECU that's so multifaceted.
yeah, like a Flash,
Yeah.
like a Flash
Right.
tune is very hard to develop. But back to the original Genesis thing, like yeah, I mean we admittedly tripped, fell, ate shit.
Yeah.
You know, And instantly, a lot of other companies were just like, well, if you want to switch, we'll give you a 30% discount to switch over to our tune.
Yeah.
You know?
That's-
Yeah. And it's just like,
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were just as many people standing in line waiting to blow up their motor on somebody else's tune as
right.
people
Yeah.
were to.
Yep. And I mean, I will say, like, there are people out there doing like YouTube reviews of different tunes like back to back. There's one specific company that loves to just talk shit on us.
They're back east, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But we make more
I-
power, more torque across the board.
Yeah.
I feel like I've looked at cars that have been done by this company
Yeah.
and thought I should price out what it costs to get it IE tuned.
I told this company to eat shit at one of our NASA Utah Enduros.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to try to hire me to do their full Enduro coverage last second. They balked at my price.
Mm.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
That's
You come to me,
crazy.
you come
Lack
to me
of
last minute.
preparation on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Yep.
Exactly.
I know Devin's heard and said that more than once in a service department.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Or not only in a service department, even in the even in the company, I get
Sure.
I get assignments for illegal inspections and BBBs and like executive liaison cases, and I've had other people within Ford call me, I need you to go to this dealer and go look at this vehicle, and I say, okay, my schedule is I'm booked 2 weeks out, I can make it there on this day. That doesn't work. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, find somebody else.
Yeah, I'm like, I can try and squeeze in, but there's no guarantees. And I've upset a couple of people because of that, but I'm like, I got a job to do. I've got other
Yeah.
things that are already on the calendar. So
Can't be the yes man and still do your job to its fullest.
Exactly.
Yep. Do you mind if I steal this for a couple seconds?
Go
'Cause
right ahead.
I had a big thing that happened to me this last week.
Okay.
Bought a motorcycle.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, you did.
What do you have about that, Dave?
It's parked in front of a unregistered BMW.
It is
that you also
registered.
own.
It is registered.
Where the hell's the license plate?
It's a temp tag that's expired.
Where the hell's the temp tag that's expired?
That doesn't sound like it's registered.
No, I have a title in my name from the Utah State Department of the vehicles.
This is hello, X-Breezy and Lightning Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I bought a motorcycle. I bought a big boy bike.
Yes, you did.
Bought a Yamaha FJ09.
what is that? I don't even
That
know. What
really
that
doesn't
is.
mean anything to me.
It meant nothing to me when I bought it either. It's it's the sports touring version of the FZ09, which
And-
is Yamaha's.
It's a dual sport something or other is what it looks like, sort of.
No, it's a sports tourer. So it's a sports bike engine and chassis with touring amenities.
It didn't mean anything until I bought it.
I didn't know what it was when I bought it. I didn't do any research. I'm like, that looks cool. I fit on it. How fast is it? Fuck yeah, let's buy it.
So it's a sport bike Harley.
No,
God.
Harley. No. It's a sports bike Goldwing.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good comparison. Yeah.
God damn it.
You know, just a dual sport Goldie would have been way cooler.
The more you talk about this, the worse and worse this is.
No, hold on. I've owned cars with less horsepower than that motorcycle.
How much do you owe on the Tacoma?
Nothing.
So when you inevitably plaster your dick 300 yards from your teeth, do I get it?
No.
Oh,
Do I get it?
Dang, that bike makes like 115 horsepower.
Yeah, I've owned several cars that make less horsepower. I think both my Mustangs make less horsepower than my motorcycle.
God, I feel like your Subaru currently makes less than that.
No, the Super makes 230.
Does it run?
Which one?
Yes.
Pick one.
The one that has the engine in the back of my truck? I don't know.
You mean the one that's still growing weeds in my yard?
Yes, the one that I technically already sold, and I got
Jesus.
cash for to pay for the motorcycle that's still in your yard.
And I was dumb enough to give you $100 to go in on a Mustang with you. What the hell is wrong with me?
Hey, Dave, can I get the title for the Subaru?
Can I get $100 for the Mustang?
Absolutely, if you give me the title for the Subaru.
Why does it feel like I am watching some sort of white collar crime happen?
This
Why does it look like fraud is happening in front of me?
If you withhold the Subaru title, I'm out $3,000 I owe somebody. So I really like that title, please.
Am I an accessory to a crime after the fact?
No, because I will pay you to shut your mouth.
Same,
This is
same.
on the internet.
I will pay all of you to shut your mouth.
I won't. Just Mike and maybe Devin.
How much are you into that Mustang? Because I am literally about to cash you out so you can focus on your priorities.
You're
I have yelled at him to do that, and he is just
well,
stared
there
at
is
me.
a very nice computer sitting on the pinball table that I need to do some work on, and then I get an engine for it.
Aside from that, what are you currently into that Mustang?
This is
I
my
don't
life,
know.
Devin.
The price I paid for it plus the car wash I paid for it,
Okay,
well,
well,
like $245.
okay, and I gave you 100 of that.
Yes,
And then you still owe me like $60 for the wheel and pedal setup that you never use.
yeah, and so that's why I was going to trade you an $800 laptop for debt free and some labor pulling an engine.
Yeah, you know, this really is a white collar crime about to unfold.
Yeah.
100%.
Christ.
How do
You
I
know-
tax this?
It's kind of funny. This reminds me of when I bought a truck in Utah that I'd never seen, and Dave stored it for me for like a year or two, and then I got to the point where I was like Dave needs the space. Like did you move it like 2 different times for me and all this stuff?
What
and I
truck is
finally
it?
got the title.
It
And
was
then
the 83 Toyota pickup.
yeah,
Little slammed orange one that was like straight
I don't
pipe.
think I ever saw
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. No, I moved that like 4 different times.
and then finally I realized I was like, I am never gonna get to this. There's no way, and so I sold it, and I was like, all right, Dave, we'll split the profit. It was like a $200 profit or something.
I
So
wasn't
Dave
even
got
mad.
$100.
I
and got
was not even mad.
$100.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because I did the math as of right. No, so remember my little tiny motorcycle I had? Yeah, I'm trading that for a winch.
Huh, okay.
I'm trading it for it's currently torn apart with low compression for a worn 9,000-pound winch.
Very nice. You know, it's funny you mentioned that little Toyota pickup.
Hold on. Aside from this new bike that you bought, do you own a vehicle that isn't some form of clapped out shitbox?
The Tacoma.
The Tacoma's kind of clapped.
The Tacoma's fucking gorgeous.
The Tacoma was front wheel drive for a month and a half.
Oh, a lot longer than that.
The Tacoma looks like you sleep in the cab and not in your rooftop tent.
Okay, from the outside it looks fine. Okay,
From 20 feet away, the closer you get, the more it's like somebody's living
So
in this thing.
it's definitely a
from the rear the BMW looks great. Okay, the motorcycle that I just bought.
Yeah,
the
I said aside.
singular-
I
Oh.
said aside. I opened up with a side from
Devin,
the new
do
motorcycle.
you see what I have to deal
The
with?
best part too about this
Yeah.
motorcycle, it is the singular most expensive thing I've ever bought.
Button.
Bought.
He's from Idaho.
Bought.
Give him a break.
Button.
And then I got a phone call on Friday. You haven't heard this yet, Dave.
Oh, Jesus.
From my boss saying, "Hey, I like you. You should look for a new job. We're replacing you."
Oh,
Remember that thing I told you about, Dave?
Yeah.
Yep,
All
there it
right.
is.
Well,
Yeah.
that
Have you noticed the pile on the? I'm not saying what's on the pinball table, but have you noticed what's on the pinball table and how it's been growing?
I didn't actually look in
Oh.
that direction, but I will. I'll have to sample the wares.
It's
I guess.
because that's how I'm paying for my my time unemployed.
Is this your homemade severance package? Is that what you're
This is my
telling me?
own-
Jesus Christ.
I will
Zach's
discuss
just
this.
raiding the fucking closets.
Well, you guys are gonna throw this out eventually. Let me help you.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that from you.
Just can you hold the
drag.
door for me?
Um,
It's like that
Can
one
you-
time the cops crashed a house party I was at, and I made out with like $3,000 in booze because everybody else was underage. The cops held the door open for me. It was fantastic.
Help me put this thing in my truck. You can't take this. It's
help-
all right. I got a guy.
I got a guy.
I got a guy.
I got a guy. God, fuck.
How can you be Kramer to the T?
Levels.
Like I am quite honestly surprised that he doesn't have a garbage disposal in his shower.
Oh my god, that'd be so great.
God.
I'm
damn.
I'm just waiting for I'm just waiting for him to rent out the drawers in his
Yes. Yes.
I just
Do not give this
There's-
man any more ideas for
there's
his
gonna
fun
come a
employment.
day. There's gonna come a day where I'm getting ready to take a shower, and then just the pressure upstairs drops, and I just hear him screaming in the basement.
Oh my god. Okay, when you flush the toilet upstairs, it goes from like temperate, like nice, to boiling And like, so like it's happened on multiple occasions where he'll hit the toilet and I'm cowering underneath the spray because I can't cross in front of it or I'll burn myself. So I'm sitting there just cowering from it, counting down the seconds. Because I know it takes 14 and a half seconds for the water to turn back cold. So I'm sitting there, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
And the best part about this, I'm laughing because I know how tall you are. So you cower. You're like super scrunched under there trying.
This is one. Can I?
Yeah.
Hey,
that was a tangent. I'm sorry.
It really was. But continuing on that tangent, you know how many times I've tried to get like cold water in my sink upstairs and it's come out room temperature or warmer?
Oh, so you gotta. Here's the trick: when you come home and you want a cold glass of water, turn it on. Then you go take your shoes off and you change, and you come back. Then it's cold. It's better in the basement.
Upstairs, I've just dealt with slightly below room temperature is cold.
It gets better in the winter.
Wow, you guys are really talking about a lot of first world problems that I don't deal with living in a fucking van, okay?
You made your choice.
I know. I have cold water on tap.
Yeah, we had cold water on tap for a while.
God, that sucked.
That was awful.
Yeah. Somebody forgot to inform the gas company that his banking information changed.
Someone also one time forgot to inform the electric company.
That also happened as well too.
I feel like I'm in a petty argument between people who are a hair away from getting divorced. Send help.
Nah.
I was unaware that the gas was out until I turned the shower on. I'm like, oh, Mike must have just barely showered. Oh, this is still really cold. This is really cold, like really cold.
I just love whenever we get a shut off notice and I take a picture and I send it to you. Just like, are they threatening or is it actually off? And I'm just like, nah, dude.
Is this real or is this a threat?
It says shut off.
Ah, fuck.
Like,
I have told Mike multiple times, hey, that eviction notice we just got doesn't actually mean anything. Just ignore it.
that 1 week where every other day we got a fucking eviction notice.
What?
We had some problems.
Yeah, listen.
Apparently,
we're having this household has a real tenuous grip on financial solvency.
Because somebody's brewing hooch in the bathtub. Yeah, that's top priority, apparently.
Brewing a hooch in the bathtub. I'm yelling at people on the internet for screenshotting photos they should just buy.
This is absolutely a Seinfeld episode. This entire house.
Oh no, my time here is going to become a hell of a book.
Oh, this will be. Well, the
this
best part though
is
is like,
Seinfeld mixed with like shit. I don't even know.
the best part is I love Mike so much that like
Frasier, that's what it was.
Frasier, that like there was a possibility of me getting into some more money with a new job, and I was like, I'm gonna move out. I'm gonna ask Mike to move with me because I still want Mike as a roommate. Like, even though all of these problems somehow we're the best of the world. Like,
we're not running away from them.
Yeah, we're very aware of the issues we have, and somehow that's the least of the two evils. Like,
Yeah.
That's driving a car down the freeway with every dash light illuminated, knowing full well you know exactly
you're
what the
doing this
problem
wrong.
is, with no intention of
you're
fixing
doing
it.
it wrong. Driving down the highway, knowing you're on E, and seeing how far you can drive it on E.
I'll
Mic
challenge
drop.
you to a hyper.
To circle
a
back
reference
to cars
by
on that note, driving on E, right?
Yes.
We've come full circle here. So this last weekend I was at a drift event, and I wasn't drifting, but I was there to go hang out and shoot a video, and the part of the drift event was you had to do a lap on track and qualify, and then street drive your car from the track to new Buc-ee's gas station. You guys know what Buc-ee's is?
Yes.
Yeah, ginormous gas station. So they
Isn't it
built one.
pronounced Boosie's?
Sit down.
Hey, it's Pride Month. We're getting
Yeah, you
with the power of Lil Nas X. We're getting pussy added to the dictionary, baby.
So as we're cruising to Buc-ee's, I'm riding shotgun on my buddy's Drift Ranger. He gets a call from his wife. She's following behind in the minivan, and she goes, I ran out of gas.
Sounds like a personal problem, baby. We'll
And
catch
then-
you on the way back.
And then the guy running the drift event, right? The guy who's running it, he was on E the entire time in his truck, and he's got two media guys in the bed of his truck shooting video, and he's like, well, I hope I can make it to Buc-ee's. And it was like a 15-minute drive, and I'm like, dude, Why would you just put some gas in your truck before?
Because it's drifting, Devin. Do you think any of them have any fucking forethought? You've been in this long enough. You know nobody thinks this stuff through.
We call this wicknicking.
Yes. Oh my
there's a-
gosh, Wicknick, dude.
I already know. I already know.
Did you see the picture of I posted of him like looking like Smeagol Gollum sitting there cutting open his oil filter? He's like on the ground cutting open his oil filter for his used oil system for his truck, and he's like inspecting it and of course like one glove is torn because it's always torn, but he doesn't put a new glove on.
I'll do you one better. So at the 2-day, he was up squatting on the fender of that hatch of his.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a picture of him wrist deep in a 2J.
Yeah.
Torn
His
glove,
native habitat.
torn glove, bottle of Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
I'm just like, this encapsulates everything that is Wicknick.
So Hadlock and I were discussing this the other day, the miracle of Wicknick, right? He is the way he is because he's never felt a hangover before.
This is very true.
Does he not drink?
No.
No.
He's never had a drop of alcohol.
No.
I think the most twisted I've ever seen him was on like Tylenol.
Yeah, when he gets jacked, when he has a few too many Dr. Peppers.
Yeah.
I'm all jacked
all
up
jacked.
Mountain Dew.
It's my hat now.
We just jumped from one awesome movie to another, and I knew exactly which one you're talking about, and I'm just dying because that's the best scene in that entire movie. Go to church every Sunday. You gonna bring the devil out of me?
I love that. Oh my God, I love that.
So Devin, what do I need to Venmo you to send me an envelope full of Bucky stickers? Okay, no. So,
To
hold
be
on.
honest, I don't even know when I'm going to go back to Bucky's because it was so insanely busy. So I should have the video uploaded tomorrow.
Okay.
But like the city that this Bucky's is in is Florence, South Carolina,
Mhm.
and Florence is a gas station stop on the way to Myrtle Beach. That's all it is. Like the whole city to me, when I drive through it, is just like one giant truck stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
so-
right.
Yeah.
So Bucky's, I don't know why, it's a tourist destination in Florence.
Yeah, because
So
it's
it has its own exit off of the highway. Like, oh look, exit here to go to Bucky's, and the lane loops right into the gas station.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? So there was like the entire parking lot was packed. Every single one of like the 150 gas pumps was being used. I was like, man, like I walked in, I was like, I'm not buying anything. I'm not getting in line.
no.
I mean,
It's such a
it's like pulling into a Target with a fuel station.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you really want Bucky's stickers, I got a friend in Texas.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm from Texas. I can help you out.
Yeah.
So I had working for Vivint. We had a friend I had a coworker and a friend who came from Texas. He brought a handful with him, and every roof he was on, he would put a Bucky sticker on the equipment. And no one knew this because he was doing all the installs, and his installs were really good, so no one was ever going back to service them. So once we were decommissioning our network, holy fuck, we pulled so many radios with Bucky stickers on it.
So he was a busy boy.
Oh, he was a busy boy. I had a truck full of like 400 radios, all with Bucky stickers on it.
Nice.
Hell yeah. That's the move.
That's leaving.
I
the
have
mark.
I have photos somewhere of them because it was so fucking funny.
That's beautiful. Okay. What were we? This was just tangent central.
It
We
really
went
was.
from like Drift Week to financial struggles of the
Which I mean, honestly, hand in hand. Let's be honest.
yes, yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah,
we-
realistically.
I mean, we're not drifters if we're financially sound. We would
Yeah.
be professionals if we were financially sound.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
Look, one of the things that I learned, okay, I was sitting here, this is like, okay, like trying to figure out how to make money with YouTube. What I learned on Drift Week was the big YouTubers, they are a merchandise company
Yep.
that advertises doing automotive stuff. So
Yeah,
like it's
right.
crazy. Like, so there's this website called Social Blade, and you can look up any YouTuber essentially who's made it to monetization and see what their estimated income is. Okay. And like for example, like, Colette Davis was all over with her car catching fire, and she's got all this money to fix it, whatever. Well, when you look at how much money she actually makes from YouTube, it's like $50,000 a year.
yeah, it's not
That's
not
enough
much.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But she makes money selling merch. And so like it was interesting talking to a couple of people. They're like, somebody's got 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like they make like a couple $1,000s a month off of YouTube. Not enough to like, I make more money in my day job than they do. And these people are huge on YouTube. They said, yeah.
Right.
So then we started selling t-shirts, and like the t-shirt that they sell the most of. So it's sort of like this one, right? So I'm wearing my Just Engineering shirt, but it's just like, it had like the logo of the YouTube channel on just right here. That's it. And that shirt, they sold like hundreds of, I mean, they are bringing in like I think they said they're bringing in like $20,000 a month selling t-shirts.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And so they hired a couple of their buddies to box up the t-shirts, and then they all go drifting. I'm like, that's what they do. And I'm like, this is mind blowing to me. And like at the Adam LZ drift party, right? So that was day 2 at Englishtown. Like all Adam did was post on Instagram like twice. Hey, Adam LZ drift party. That was all the advertising he needed because he had this huge following. There was 7,000 people that showed up. I have never been at a drift event with that many people. It was insane.
Jesus.
And the merch line for the Adam LZ shirts and stuff that you can buy from his website, the LZ manufacturing stuff, the line was like half a mile long.
That's wild.
That's
like,
insane.
Why would you not just go buy it on the website? Like, he might have had some exclusive shirt for that.
Sure.
But still, I just was like, this is insane to me. So I'm like, okay, to make money on YouTube, I need to get a big enough following to where people want to watch my stuff, where it's like I'm piggybacking off of other people, right? So I had a video with like Luke Fink driving my car and a video of Fielding Shredder, and I'm piggybacking off of everybody else. Like if I get to a point where you guys all right there? What?
I think
my chair popped and now I can recline.
Okay.
I'm not mad.
the look that Dave gave me though was the best, because as he's like experimenting with.
I was worried I wasn't gonna find that stop at the end.
And you were just gonna fall.
Oh God!
Yeah.
That felt a little weird.
Why do I have a feeling I'm going to need to go get another IKEA chair?
I'll buy you another chair, Mike.
Thank you.
I was just.
No, we're okay. We're good. I just don't think I had the lever in all the way.
Okay.
No, we're good.
All right.
Okay. So what I was saying is like, if I can get big enough to where like I am what people search for, right? People want to find my stuff.
Sure.
And then sell shirts. Like that's it. I
Can we
can quit my day job, and I would love that. You know how cool that would be? Like I just get to go drifting and make videos.
That's
like
the dream.
It is. It really is the dream, and it's really cool. Like talking to people, like on Drift Week, there's a couple people I talked to that they're like, you're doing the right things. Like the content quality you're putting out, because like Night Ride and a few other guys like, hey, check out my stuff, and tell me what you think. And I've had several people like the content quality you're putting out is great. The stuff that you're covering is good. Like there's some stuff, some fine tuning little things. But I've had tons of people tell me like, honestly, Devin, the content you put out is better than like the quality of the content you put out is better than a lot of the big YouTubers.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, dang, like that's really cool. So why do I only have 2,000 subscribers? and I'm like, man, if I could get to a point where that's what I do for a living, I would love my life, man.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
so
Would
let me
you
know
pay
when
me?
you need a merch guy. I'll
Yeah.
move across the country for that.
Would you pay
Yeah,
me to be
seriously.
your videographer?
Yeah, dude. See, I'm trying to move back out west now. So like,
Okay.
that's the goal is to try and be back out west by the end of the year. That's what we've been pushing for. But I got to find
Like Salt Lake City West or like West?
Phoenix.
Okay.
So
Okay. Back home. For
yeah,
you.
back home for me. Which
Gotcha.
like
I could road trip to Phoenix.
it's been like so. It's kind of funny, like not to get like super into life stuff here, but like I didn't realize how nice it is to like live close to your parents and like your siblings and stuff, because I had like no desire to do that. Like I see my family like a couple times a year, like that's good. Once a year I can see them the holidays, is fine. But now that I have a kid, dude, that like totally changes everything. And I'm like, I would have ever wanted to live down the street from my parents, but now I'm like, man, if I could live right next to my parents, so I could call my mom, hey mom, can you watch our son? So that way we could get some sleep. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Things like that I just
The grandparent thing.
Just a rugby passing the boy.
Yeah.
Like, here you go, Ma.
Yeah. So it's being a parent is exhausting. It's rewarding, but it's exhausting. So it's
Sure.
So now we're trying to move back out west, and it's just trying to find a job out there that like I'm realizing like as I'm trying to search for a job, I realize that the pay and benefits I have are pretty good.
Sure.
And trying to find something comparable in Phoenix is really hard. So I'm like Like I'm looking at, I wanted to stay with Ford because I like my job with Ford and I like the company, but I'm looking, trying to get out there by the end of the year. I'm looking at jobs with like Lucid and Rivian and other companies in Arizona where I can make similar similar pay and benefits.
We should talk after air because I have some input on some of that stuff that might be useful for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
I even had a company that does autonomous semi-truck upfitting.
Ooh.
Or semi. I don't know if it's fully autonomous or semi-autonomous.
I see.
Yeah. But it was pretty cool. A friend of mine works for them already, and we were talking about it, and it'd be a super cool job because the whole thing is like they would fly me out to wherever the stuff needs to be installed, and I'd be overseeing the company they contract with do the install and troubleshooting and making sure it's all set up right. I wouldn't actually have to do the labor except for sitting there with the scan tool and trying to make sure everything works. And it seems really cool, but the only problem is I'd be away from home for 2 weeks a month.
Yeah,
I can't do that to my wife and kid,
Yeah, that's like, real rough.
Dang. But that's the goal, is to be out west, and then nice. I can make it to drift events in Utah, because my wife's family is in Ogden, so we'll go up to Utah all the time.
Sure. Well, I think the West Coast has a lot of the best, in my opinion, the best flavor of drifting. Not to discount any of the East Coast stuff, because I've seen what you do out there, No,
it's interesting. There's definitely a culture difference. So like, it was really funny, like talking to people that like drift with Club Loose, but aren't like hardcore Club Loose guys.
Sure.
They're like Club Loose. They're like, they're kind of like a wannabe biker gang.
Yeah.
And you see that with like the Bloodmaster stuff. So like you see that, and the Bloodmasters guys are Club Loose, but Club Loose isn't Bloodmasters, right? It's only a select of the Club Loose guys. But they drive super rad, they put on rad events, but it's definitely a different kind of vibe.
Sure.
And then like, here where I'm at, there's competitions, and it's crazy because like a grassroots series, like the last drift event, the round one at MB Drift at Rockingham. A former licensed Pro 2 driver came out to compete. His license expired, but in the rule book, like we had to create a rule book because a bunch of people were freaking out about it. So, last year I helped write the rule book. And this year I took a step back from running the events, but I kind of like saw what was going to happen because he came out to drive with his buddies, and then he decided to enter the competition. Well, in the rule book, it says if you have been licensed before your license expired, you need to petition to compete. And the reason for that is because the way that MB Drift looks at grassroots or competition is it's like pre-pro-am. Like to go drifting and pro-am and compete, it's insane. You got thousands and thousands of dollars for safety equipment.
Right.
So you can't expect somebody to just immediately jump into pro-am and be like, yeah, let's do this.
There's got to be a step between. You didn't used to have to have that step, but now you do, because pro-am has gotten so high. Right.
And so the way MB Drift looks at it is, okay, if you've been licensed, if you are licensed, you can't compete, right? You can't. You're above this, right? You've graduated, right? Yeah. It's like the MB Drift grassroots is entry level up to pro-am, right? That's the range of drivers that should be there competing. But some people look at grassroots as run what you brung, and I'm like, that's not it. Like that's clutch kickers, and clutch kickers repeatedly said they're not grassroots, and they agree that clutch kickers isn't grassroots. Sure. So I'm like, okay, so if you say run what you brung is grassroots, and you're saying clutch kickers isn't grassroots, this isn't. We're not all on the same page here. So
they're making their own rules. Then sounds like
So I guess what got into this thing is, people are so competitive that there was so much drama. This guy ended up taking second for the day. And it wasn't until after the event that the staff realized that he didn't petition. He didn't clear it with anybody. He just went out there and competed. And other drivers were like, hey, he broke this rule. How did he win? And so after the fact, they had to disqualify him. And it's in the rules, right? It's pretty clear.
That's what has to happen.
And so his buddies were really upset about it, right? His crew, his drivers, because they have a team, they're really upset. I understand why you're upset. He got the drive, but he broke the rule. Other drivers brought it to the staff and judges' attention.
Yeah.
You got to enforce the rule. Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is what happens when you fail post-race tech. That's just
Yeah.
suddenly you get that podium taken away from you. But sorry.
So it caused like a bunch of drama, and I'm like, dang, like y'all just need to chill out. Like this is grassroots drifting. Like we're just here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Drifting fun.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird. Like there is that competitiveness here, right?
Mhm.
Out west, I never ever saw that. Okay, never once saw that out west. And in Michigan, you know, I saw people that are competitive, but it got to the point where people were like, I don't want to compete anymore because of that kind of stuff, right? I don't want
Sure.
to deal with that.
Yeah.
I just want to go drive and have a good time.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, you still got the same kind of attitude. And then you get to like the southeast and the east where like, you know, circle track stuff is. These people are going from like circle track, dirt track stuff into drifting. And so they carry that same competitive nature with them. And it creates a kind of different drift scene here. That's not to say
a lot of it. You see a lot of it with like drag race guys too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just making something fun competitive. And it's like, there's an element of competition, but it doesn't need to be like,
Yeah.
Well,
it's like when I hear people say, I only come out to drift events when there's a competition. I'm like, yo, that's weird. I'm like, my primary goal with drifting is to have fun.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
and if there's a competition that I can win, cool. But like, you know, I won the MB Drift Series a few years back, and I was a staff member the last couple of years. So people asked me, Devin, why aren't you competing? You're not a staff member this year. I said, look, I already won. I want to give somebody else that opportunity. Like MB Drift typically only does a top 16. And I did not want to take, there was like 38 drivers that wanted to compete this last event, which is super cool. Like normally it's like under 30. So I was like, I don't want to take a top 16 spots from somebody that hasn't had that opportunity yet, you know?
Sure.
oh yeah.
Sure. I dig that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's humility and enjoyment of the game, right?
For real. Yeah. That's how you got to do it.
Oh,
No. I was
No.
no.
You got nothing.
okay.
All right. Well,
I was
Zach
just going to inform the time.
Zach
but
404.
Just
Oh, yeah. We're up both. We're like an hour and 15 or
Yeah,
something like
just
that.
to
Yeah.
make sure
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
That's fine.
No problem. Just making make sure we're
Yeah.
What
All
other questions about Drift Week do you guys have? I feel like we talked a little bit about it, but I'm not sure
well-
if you guys had anything
Well,
else.
I'm kind of curious. So, like, I always kind of knew it was bigger than what you saw
yes.
with a lot of the people.
Mhm.
I'm also like kind of curious, like there was you in the Corolla. You've been like the only dude with a Corolla to do it.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen like Corvettes and
wait.
you know,
Corollas can drift.
yes, they can.
Oh boy, Zach.
What was kind of like the gamut of cars that was out there?
Yeah.
Because I'm in my head, it's just like, okay, dudes out there in Corvettes. There's a guy in a Miata that I saw in one of your videos.
Mhm.
You know, but it's just like, to do something like this, you need something streetable that you can also just like huck.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
so it kind of like narrows it down in my mind. But I'm real curious to see what was actually out there.
Yeah. It was I didn't like you hit the nail on the head. It's a lot bigger than what you see. All right. That was one of the things that somebody gave feedback to Aaron about was all the drivers didn't really get a chance to meet each other. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody showed up to the first track at different times.
Ugh.
Like I got there late, right? The guy that was supposed to be crew with me is supposed to be, you know, my co-pilot.
Mhm.
As we were on our way to Englishtown, he got the notification from his family that his grandpa's health was rapidly declining and he
Aw.
needed to get back. And I was like, oh dang, dude. So he went back home. That kind of delayed my travel time a little bit. You know, there's also some other issues.
Yeah.
I didn't get there until like the last couple hours of the first day. And a lot of people were kind of like that. We didn't really have an opportunity to like a meet and greet. There wasn't a meet and greet. And so that was one of the feedback that somebody gave. One of the Australian guys gave feedback to Aaron and said, hey, this is something to think about. And I thought that'd be great because I thought that, like I was telling you, like I thought that I'd get to drive with these famous people. I thought like the famous people want to I felt like, I don't know why I thought they would talk to everybody and introduce themselves and try and help bring everybody up.
Yeah,
But I also realized that they're there to create content for their brand, to sell more merch and make money, whatever.
Yeah.
But Luke Fink and his wife, they were like super cool because they introduced themselves to everybody.
Yeah, Luke seems like a super cool dude.
I agree.
Dude, awesome guy. And when we got back from Drift Week, I got COVID like a week afterwards.
Woof.
And Luke and his family were in Myrtle Beach when me and my family had COVID, and I was like, no, you guys are here for a couple of days. I wanted to hang out, and because they're just such good people, super super genuine people. Okay, but back to your question of like how many people were there and what kind of stuff you saw.
Like what kind of cars were we seeing?
So Corvette is like the majority of what was there.
Okay.
I counted like 12 Corvettes in one of my videos, and I stopped counting. So at least 25% of the cars there were Corvettes.
Okay.
But then you had a couple of BMWs, right? There's an E36. I can't remember. Was it Nick Novak? He was driving an E36. And there was another E36 from kind of a nobody guy that was there. So there's a couple of E36s, a couple 350Zs, always a couple 350Zs.
Always.
There was the SR20 Mustang, the Sylvia Stang.
Yeah.
The 1JZ MX83 Cressida. There was obviously my Corolla. Dustin Hash and his, I guess you could count that as a Corvette because that's an old Chevy truck body on a Corvette. Yeah. So that's technically a Corvette.
Yeah.
And then the gang of Miatas. There was 3 Miatas. I'm trying to think who else was there. My buddy and his Z4. He brought a Z4 with his he put a little hitch carrier on it.
Yeah.
You're pretty rad.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, there wasn't really probably the most unique cars were my Corolla, Dustin and his truck, and the Cressida and the Z4. Those cars kind of stood out, but everything else is pretty typical.
Yeah. Pretty like
Corvette.
Standard fare.
Yeah. And the S13s, right? There's S13s and S14s. I guess I should mention those. Those were there.
Yeah. But it really seems like this is, since it's evolved, like it's kind of people are figuring out like, okay, I can't do the thing where I bring the car that I, drive 40 minutes to my local event to this thing where I have to spend 2 weeks in this fucker.
Yeah.
I actually have to bring something that I can drive on the track, but then also drive and not want to drive into a freeway overpass.
Yeah, see, Corvettes work really well for that because they're a hatchback, right? You can fit a lot of stuff in the back of a Corvette, surprisingly.
So much room. And
we didn't have to carry our wheels and tires, right? That was part of the whole thing was Volino transported our tires, right? Mm-hmm. And then Rudy Hansen, you guys know Rudy.
We know Rudy.
His wife, Shelly, drove their truck. Shelly and Bobby drove the truck and the trailer, and their trailer was full of everybody's spare wheels and 1 tote of spare parts. So the only things I had to put in my car was like my camera gear, my clothes, my tools, and anything else I didn't send with them. So it made the trip pretty simple, but I carried like oil and I brought probably way too many tools.
Yeah.
Corolla owner.
Yeah. I was like, this is the first time. I mean, like my car is pretty well sorted, but I've never driven it and drifted it for 2 weeks straight. So I was like, I don't know what to bring. Yeah. And I learned a lot on this trip too. It being my first trip, I learned a lot about what to bring and what not to bring.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's also a good testament of your engineering as well.
Yeah. I mean, for me, obviously the things that failed in my car is like when I crashed in Englishtown at the Adam Ozzie drift party, when the dude spun in front of me, ripped off the entire front end of my car, but it was all cosmetic. Mechanically, it was fine.
Right.
And when I messed up when I was trying to do backies and I slammed on the brakes and Wicknick just smashed my taillight. Those are like the only things that really broke on my car, but it was weird things. Like I have a heel plate in the driver's on the driver's side, and the bolts for that backed out.
What? Oh, okay.
You had a Brian Earl Spillner moment.
Oh no.
It was It was weird. Little weird things like that. But for the most part, the trip was pretty good with my car. Nice. It was interesting. I was talking to Aaron because people who have done Drift Week has been going on long enough that people are building cars specifically for Drift Week. So they're picking a car, buying it, building it with just doing Drift Week in mind. And I think that's why we saw a lot of Corvettes. Although the most failures that we saw were from Corvettes. Multiple engine failures.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So there were 2 engine failures on Drift Week and 1 additional engine failure right after Drift Week, between Drift Week and Hyperfest.
Interesting.
Well, I see this a lot, and I think a lot of it has something to do with the oiling systems
in
most of these cars. I imagine a lot of these cars were C6s, which are dry sump.
Yep.
Or semi-dry sump, I guess.
Yeah, depending
they're kind of a
on
hybrid. Depending on the model, right?
Yeah.
LS2 or LS3.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see all the guys in Pro-Am or Pro Spec with LSs that have these, multi-quart, even up to, sometimes several gallon oil systems in these cars. And those are the guys that don't typically have the failures, where you've got the guy that's got the 4-quart AccuSump knockoff in a stock car with an oil cooler, and they're spinning rod bearings or shit in a rod.
Well, and most of the two Corvette engine failures were at Summit Point on Shenandoah.
Mm-hmm.
So Shenandoah, that was what I think about, like, the most fun tracks. Shenandoah was the most fun driver track. I didn't have to tandem with somebody to have an absolute blast.
Got it.
And for me, like, my most favorite, like, tandem track would have been Thompson, the Clubhouse circuit, which is a shorter, tighter, kind of like almost like a go-karty feeling track, like a mid-speed go-kart kind of track. But anyway, so on Shenandoah, that's the course that has the carousel corner.
Mm-hmm.
So the track starts with like a Mahon style entry where you're like huck it like with a wall scrape, and then you do a couple little back-to-back. And then it goes into a couple other corners. Then you've got the carousel. And after the carousel, you have this like, oh my gosh, it's a super common Corolla drift track in Japan. I can't think of the name of it, but it's got a couple of these like off camber downhill corners. And it's got so many neat features, because the way that they designed that track, I don't know if it's every single track there, but that track specifically, the guy who designed the track and built the tracks was like, he had traveled all over the world driving. I don't know if it was IndyCar or F1 or something, or Formula something or other, but he picked his favorite features from all these different tracks that he'd been to and crammed them into these tracks, right? So, so Shenandoah had so many different features that you didn't want to stop driving.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what led to the engine failures. As soon as oil temps got high, boom, LS grenades. Yeah. And that's what happened to both the Corvettes.
Okay.
They saw the oil temps going up. They did one too many laps, didn't stop, let it cool down, and lost oil pressure. And that was it.
Pop she goes.
Indeed.
Yeah. Cool.
You'll get that with those big jobs.
Yep. Yes, you will.
Okay. Well, final thoughts about Drift Week.
Yeah.
Like overall, like, what did you think? What are you going to do different? You're going to do it again, I imagine.
Yeah. That's the plan. Like, probably like the biggest highlight of the whole Drift Week experience was having Aaron invite me back. He asked me if I was going to go to Drift Week 6.
Cool.
And I was like, nah, dude, like, I can't afford it. The whole trip. So I've got a video that does the breakdown of the cost of everything.
Yeah. And
all the, like, how good was it? A couple of the generic questions. The trip cost me $10,000.
Yeah. We had Aaron on like a year or two ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he told us, like, we asked him, like, hey man, how much is this? He was very candid and honest. And he's just like, it's a lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can do it cheaper, but that was like my highlight, was being invited back. So I'm planning on going back, and I'm still going to drive the Corolla because that's what I love. Right. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to be like other people and build a car specifically for Drift Week. I'm going to add some modifications to make my car better for Drift Week. And that's the car that I love. And that's the car I've always, I've driven other cars and they're just not fun to me.
Sure.
Yeah. 8.6s are just so exciting.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
But I grew more as a driver in those 2 weeks than I have in like multiple seasons, right? Because it's a full season's worth of driving back to back.
So do you attribute that improvement to the quality seat time, or is there something else about that?
I think it's the quality of the seat time in such a short period of time, right?
Really good way to get your muscle memory up, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And I also grew a lot as a driver. Like, I crashed on day 2 of the trip, right? That was my big crash.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super disheartened, right? And I couldn't get out of my own head. And up until from then on until Summit Point. So the next day at English Town, I was fixing the car. I was driving at Pocono. I didn't want to drive because I was still pissed off and bummed out. And I couldn't find my groove. And then at Summit Point, I was finally finding my groove. And then I let Luke Fink drive my car. And Luke is an amazing driver. He's an 8.6 drifter. He's driven high power, low power. He's been drifting these cars for years. And like, he showed me what my car was capable of.
Mhm.
And that like boosted my confidence back of like, oh, well, I'm just being an idiot. I just need to get out of my head and drive it. And like, it was like flipping a switch. Like immediately I was like a 10 times better driver. So that was a big part of it, was letting somebody else who's a better driver drive my car and ask for their feedback on it.
Mhm.
And he loved my car, by the way, which was like, oh,
Fanboy moments.
yeah. Well, it's like he gave me a couple of things that I need to sort out on the car to make it better. But overall, he liked my car, and he thought, like, I was like, would you change anything? He's like, no. Fix your bump steer and fix your steering bind at lock. Those two things. And he's like, it's not bad, but it's something that you could address to make it better. He's like, but don't change the setup. The car has the right level of grip, the right amount of power. It's good. So I was like, oh, cool.
Nice.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to follow up on that. So all that being said, what changes do you want to do to the car?
I am looking at adding more power, right? I love the supercharger. I love having the instant torque. I love the way it comes on and the nostalgia of having this old school Blitz supercharger on the car.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized that to be able to make myself a more versatile driver and not change cars, I need to add a little bit more power. So I'm looking at swapping to a turbocharged setup. So I'm talking to a company about a manifold. I'm trying to get a hold of Borg Warner if they would call me back to work out something on a turbo, because I would like to develop a turbo kit for the beams. That's a bolt-on kit. Don't mess the bottom end or anything. Everything stays stock. And I would like to be able to develop a turbo kit that can make 350 horsepower on a stock engine. And so that's really the main thing, is I'm looking to bump up power a little bit and probably change a few like safety things about the car. After seeing Colette's car catch fire, like that really freaked me out of like, wow, I have holes in my firewall, my trans tunnel that I have duct tape over that I should probably weld up or have actual plugs over. So that stuff I want to sort out on the car. And I would like to do a fire suppression system at some point after seeing that too. I mean, there's points on Drift Week where like I had to pull my feet up from the floorboard because the floor was so hot.
Right.
And it's kind of weird. Like I'm stepping, I feel like I'm backpedaling as far as like car setup. The car is built to be a full track car. Now I'm like, how can I make this more comfortable for street driving?
Yeah.
Well, you're to the point now where you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
We're not kids in high school with, stripped out cars anymore, blasting around town on the weekends.
Yeah.
We like to be able to enjoy our things.
Yeah. And so like, it's a lot of like creature comfort stuff I have planned.
Sure.
Like I'm going to put a resonator in the exhaust because it is stupid loud. And that was so annoying. I was driving with earplugs or noise canceling headphones the entire trip.
Right.
So, things like that is really what I'm hoping to sort out in the car. A little more power, a little more creature comforts. And that's about it.
Nice.
Cool. I'm about it.
There we go.
But final thoughts about anything else?
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity to either drive in Drift Week or ride shotgun and be a media guy for Drift Week or crew, whatever, I mean, jump at that opportunity. It totally changed my outlook on what drifting could be.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I make friends with drifting wherever I go, right? Like those are my people, right? That's how I make friends. But a lot of the drift friends I have, I wouldn't openly like, oh, come stay at my house, right? Like, hey, I want to hang out at the racetrack. I may not necessarily want you over at my house all the time, right?
Yeah.
But pretty much anybody I met on Drift Week, if they called me up like, hey, Devin, I need a place to crash, like, dude, no problem. Like, whatever. Like the friendships I made on Drift Week were absolutely incredible. And I learned so much about like I was saying about like how to be successful, how to make YouTube a living, how to make that a career. And I'm like, that's where I've set my sights at, right? Like,
nice.
I'm like, dang, I'm not that far off. I'm checking all the boxes. I've just got to keep doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that I can make it. I'm hoping that I can just sell t-shirts and make drift videos and that'll be my life,
Oh yeah.
And that's really, I think that one of the biggest things that I learned too was knowing that it is attainable. You just got to keep at it. And if I would have kept at it for the last, 2.5 years that I've been doing YouTube with the same kind of energy I have now, like that's what like the Night Ride guys did, the Polish guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of them lost his job because of COVID. He called his friend and said, hey, I've got an idea. I'm going to start a YouTube channel. We're going to make money. And he said, okay, I'll quit my job. The other guy quit his job, and they started, and in 2 years, the channel only I think the channel's only 2 years old, 500,000 subscribers.
Damn,
Right.
dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. So like, it's totally possible, and I understand it now.
Cool. So quality in spades with everything, marketing
Yeah.
advice, driving, friendships, all the good stuff.
Yeah. It was awesome. I know a lot of people, like I've had people accuse me of like clout chasing because I'm making YouTube videos and doing all this stuff. And I do YouTube. I make these videos. I started out doing this because it's fun. I enjoy it. I get enjoyment out of making videos.
Sure.
And it's weird to me that people would accuse somebody of clout chasing. I'm like, dude, like at a certain point, if you want to make drifting your life, you got to find a way to make money at it so you can keep doing it. Either you have to be independently wealthy or you have to find ways to make money.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to find ways to make money and do what I'm doing and do what I love. You know, I'm not going to make cringy clickbaity videos. That's not what I'm about.
No.
But
We leave that to Scotty Kilmer.
yeah.
oh my gosh. But I still want to, come out with quality content stuff that people like watching.
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
it still blows my mind. Like that sand rail video I made that I like tossed together. I went out to Arizona and went to the sand dunes with my family. My dad just bought this like former Red Bull sand rail, race whatever. And I mean, 1,300 horsepower sand rail that I'm like, why would you do that? My dad's like, oh, because I can't.
No.
And so like I made
Because
this
retirement,
video.
son.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
Yeah.
there. I had the checkbook, and well,
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
we are.
Yeah. So like I made a video. I really did not put much effort into it. And it's got like 11,000 views now. And it's been up for like 2 months. And I'm like, dang, that's so cool. And so
Yeah.
if something that I throw together like half-heartedly can do that well, if I put effort into something, I imagine that it would take off. I just got to find the right media, the right thing to shoot,
God damn it, Gavin.
Shit. Does anyone know what the multiple of dingus is?
I think it's dingus.
I'm pretty sure it's dingus eye.
I think it's just dingai.
I don't know. I think it's.
Dingai?
I don't know. I think it's dingus. Like
dinguses.
no, I think it's just
dingus
dingus.
eye?
I think dingus is the singular and also the plural, like deer or apparatus.
I thought it was apparatuses.
No, the plural of apparatus is apparatus.
Well, god damn it.
Apparatus.
I think it's Dungus.
Dungus. There it is. All right. Well, I think that's a perfect place to end this. Devin, where can people find you on the internet and the content that you create?
I am on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube's Doctored Garage at Doctored Garage. YouTube is where I do most of my stuff. So I have a bunch of really great Drift Week content and other A86 drift stuff. And like I said, that sand rail video, I've been making content for a couple of years. Check it out. A lot of it is A86 related, but that doesn't mean that you can't love it if you don't love 86s.
I like your stuff because it's got a lot of technical content, which I
Mhm.
think is severely lacking in a lot of things that we enjoy.
Yes.
So I recommend people just follow you based on that. The technical knowledge and the way you break it down is pretty great. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try and do it. That's like why I got started on YouTube, was like I got tired of people asking the same questions in like
Yeah.
a Facebook group I run. And I was like, all right, fine. I'm gonna film a video, I'm gonna explain it, and here it is. Here's the link. And then all of a sudden, like a couple thousand views, and I'm like, oh dang, I need to do more of these.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, Devin, thank you for joining us. Check him out, Dr. Garage, across all the platforms. This has been the CAMcast. We are at Cam Automag across all the platforms.
Yep.
I am Mike. That's Dave. I'm wearing this sweet Extra Life t-shirt because me and Dave, every Thursday, along with a couple of our other buddies, we play video games for a couple of hours.
Yes,
and
we do.
threaten to do terrible, awful things to ourselves to get you to donate money to this charitable organization. Which,
Self-deprecation for the betterment of children.
yes, we're raising money for Children's Medical
sentence.
Network hospitals, specifically primary children's here in Salt Lake.
Mhm.
It is a 100% nonprofit. They are helping kids and taking the burden off of families when Medicaid or private insurance can't or won't pick up the tab for the coverage.
Yep.
So yeah, it's every Thursday over on the Nerding for Beginners Twitch and YouTube and Facebook pages.
Yes.
So yeah, please come watch. We're over halfway to our goal. We would love to hit our goal before the actual game day in November,
Yes.
so we can then up the goal and do more awful, terrible things to ourselves in the meantime.
I'm just gonna start bribing people. Like, it's gonna happen unless you pay us.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm
real.
gonna do terrible things until you pay me not to.
Well, I don't know. See, we've tried that with. I think we just need to like film the Daisy Duke video
Yeah, that's it.
and release some like little teaser things and be like, if you want this thing to stay under wraps,
If you want to not see this,
do you want to see some nut? Because there's some nut coming at the bottom of these jorts.
A lot of people have told me I've slimmed down. You
hey-
all don't want to see just by how much.
Hey, Mike, you know I'm pretty free about what goes on in this household. That is not allowed to be filmed in this household.
We wouldn't be filming it in
No,
this house.
it's going to be
Okay.
filmed at the track. Don't
Yeah.
you worry.
Okay, good. My foot was that. I put my foot down sometime, and that was that moment.
There it is.
No free ball and nuts in my house.
Well, I know it's going to happen as soon as that camera turns
Oh,
off.
God.
All right.
Don't-
So
don't leave
ain't no
us,
party
please.
like a pants party.
there it is.
You going to the pants party?
Brick, are you saying there's a party in your pants and everyone's invited? Zach, do you want people to find you on the internet? or-
I haven't posted jack shit in like 8 months. So
Tight.
no.
Zach's out there doing shit occasionally.
Yeah. You guys can find me if for anybody that cares about the things going on in my personal life. I'm that Dave Guy Sucks on Instagram.
Mhm.
I don't post on Facebook much anymore. I very seldomly check those notifications. My professional wiring stuff I post on Overland Wiring Guy on Instagram. I'm gonna,
I feel
gonna
like-
move that into motorsports wiring soon as well. So
Yes.
OWG
Cool.
Motorsports is coming soon.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
There we go.
what kind of shit were you going to talk, Zach?
It was kind of funny when I thought of it, and then it didn't really work out. So.
Oh,
That's okay.
So
Yeah.
Perfect.
your existence.
Zing.
Can we just end it right there?
And on that, note,
Yeah. Stop the recording.
Yeah, and stop the recording. Don't end the Zoom call. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. I think you go up to the